Hi, this is BK Black Krishna from manfulwars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss and share great online info we all find offline as nice, helpful people informing and empowering each other and making better places to live. So feel free to check out the manfulwars.com website. You can also support the manfulwars.com effort. Success breeds more, and there's PayPal and direct donation links below. The offline information war is very, very important, especially with more increasing online censorship. And you get a sense that people really want to communicate when you see them going crazy in YouTube comments, Twitter comments, often to nobody and everybody, or to strangers. And people find it easier to talk to strangers than they do to each other. And at manfulwars.com, I'm trying to help people deal with that. And on that note, this video is called, excuse me, avoid it when people force you to see them touch their face to talk, or you won't be able to. Avoid it when people force you to see them touch their face to talk, or you won't be able to talk. And here in Toronto, Canada, I've got evidence of this happening over the last few years. I've got last couple of years on video. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. So I certainly don't want to discuss issues people don't want to discuss. But if it's ultimately screwing people up, then I've found ways to work around that and get the evidence we need to do better if we want to. And what do I mean by people forcing you to see them touch their face when they talk? Well, even if you watch a video like this online, and you'll see people going, yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Yeah, you know how it is. And yeah, you know, it just makes you uncomfortable. It makes you kind of recoil a bit. You don't feel like you're being respected by somebody. It's not like somebody's looking away, to do something like, excuse me, whatever. If they're trying to not force you to see them kind of look sketchy and whatever because something happened, but they're trying to force you to. And it's not even in a slow, kind of controlled way. Sometimes it speeds up and gets faster and faster as people force you to see them, or they act sheepish and sideways, and they make it hard to talk, and then they want attention after that. And because of political correctness, part of that is the reason why, people have trouble talking and aren't sure. And so there's, yeah, it's okay, right? What I'm saying is okay, so it's not going to upset you or offend you. Like, I have to say something. I can't say nothing, but don't be upset. And so, they'll act kind of rude and sketchy and, trying to, make it okay for them to bring up something that might be controversial or that, hopefully you're not upset by. But then as they act more rude and sketchy and touch their face, touch their head, touch their hair to talk or whatever, that makes it harder to talk. So they act rude and sketchy more. So it kind of feeds on itself. And the more you do it, the harder it is to be near people or look at or talk to people. And this is more often in kind of gender equal or gender neutral areas, especially more liberal areas where they push more of that, gender neutral, gender equal stuff. If you're a man, you know how to rebel, how to be a badass, act like a woman. If you're a woman, don't be a woman, blah, blah, blah. Try and act like a man. You can do anything a man can, right? And this kind of makes everybody the same. Now, if you're trans something, then of course we got to take whatever you do seriously, whether you're good or bad at being a woman. And so that further kind of screws people up. And so in Toronto, San Francisco, France, places like that are more liberal, you'll get, sullen, bitchy, or silly, bitchy guys, and shrill, bitchy girls, also sullen or silly, bitchy at times. And it's all kind of the same mishmash. And that's as opposed to more gender responsible behavior. Gender equal and gender neutral doesn't make anybody happy. You can kind of make people put up with you the same way, but it doesn't make people respect and value each other. Gender responsible does, where you have to be responsible for being a cool guy, making sure you're cool, other people are cool, and where you live is cool. And don't be scared by that. Don't feel bad about it. That's how you feel good. That's how you feel happy. It's how men historically have, and that's why we're discouraged so much from it. And then when you do that, then women and children have to respect you and be responsible for being nice and sharing something attractive, not forcing you to put up with them when it comes to what they do or what they say, just like nobody should. in more gender equal and gender neutral situations, as is often promoted, you've got men who aren't trying to be good at being women or acting like women. They're not trying to be trans or trying to be whatever or Twinkie, femi, gay guy. But they're just sort of culturally herded into it, right? So when you're not trying to do it, when you're not taking it seriously, then it's all the same. There's no, you can get some old lady, who's got a little twinkle in her eye when she smiles at you, and you feel kind of warm and you feel validated by her as long as you're a nice gentleman and she's a nice old lady. And then you'll have some young lady who's attractive or hot, and she might show off more body parts or show off whatever. And people can do things that are appropriate for their age, for how attractive they are, for the type of situation you're in, a relationship you have, or how nice you are to each other. But when guys are all acting like girls but not taking it seriously, then it's all the same, right? It's like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me play with my hair. Oh, look at me, yeah, yeah, you know how it is, eh? Oh, yeah, yeah, you know how it is, eh? Or look at me, or look at my ass, or look at my this, or look at my body, or look at my whatever, right? And so when guys act like that, like jealous, rude, ugly old ladies, or pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriends or wives or whatever, and they bust each other's balls and they scramble the girls' eggs. And they don't let people relax enough to respect each other and be nice to each other. That's when it's all the same. And men in general, if you look at the gay culture and other cultures, when they're being sexy or sexual, they are less kind of discerning. They're less, discerning than women are when it comes to sharing, being attractive or being sexy or actually having sex. So if you look at a lesbian couple, sometimes you'll have a couple of lesbian girls that'll try and stay together forever, and not necessarily they can do it well, they can do it poorly, but they're not as promiscuous. Whereas if you look at gay guys, a lot of gay guys will go to a gay bathhouse, and I've had gay guys, I've talked to some homo homies who've told me some interesting stories about that, and complaining about some of their culture in the same way everybody can kind of blow off some steam about what's happening in their culture, and talk about the narcissistic and the vacuousness. And sometimes at a gay bathhouse, you'll have guys walking around, not even talking to each other, and you're afraid to say anything because that might take away from how attractive you are. And you're naked or just wearing a towel, you kind of look at each other, size each other up, and then go off into a dark corner or a dark room and have sex with each other or fool around with each other like that. Or you'll have some gay guys some of the most insecure gay guys, all messed up by this, and other guys, ex-gays, have come out and told these stories and so on, where they're doing all the drugs, they're doing all the stuff, they're doing everything that's supposed to make them happy, but they feel more and more miserable. They're having as much sex as they can with anybody that wants to, and you'll have some guys that are in a dark part of a gay bathhouse that basically just kind of bend over a bench with no pants on, and they're just waiting for anybody to stick anything in their butt. Right? So that shows the different levels of standards that men have, and historical jokes when it comes to guys. Going back to when I was a kid, guys want to have sex with anything. Guys want to. It's not really true, but we're kind of socialized by that, socialized to think that way. Guys, they'll want to have sex with anything. Girls, no, not so much. But guys, they'll do anything. And yes, guys are, whether they're gay or they're straight, probably naturally more promiscuous, less to worry about, less chance of getting raped by definitely the opposite sex if it's men and women, and to some degree, in gay culture, the same sex, although that happens more there. But their standards are much lower in that sense, right? And so when it comes to that, and when it comes to just sort of casually and normally men acting like women but not taking it seriously, and then women having to act like men, and men making sure nobody can be cool and relax and be nice to each other and respect each other, instead of men making sure everybody can, or that's normal where they live with the code of the streets, them being cool, don't lie, look a man in the eye, firm handshake, stay busy or friendly, and then out of your way and on your way. And then women, children there going, it's a busy guy, he's not going to bother me, he's got something else to do. Well, I'll be nice and I'll share something attractive, or share being nice with him, or be nice when I want some of his time because he's busy doing something and he's not going to be a pain in the ass for other guys or for women and children. So that's the ideal archetype. In this version, where people touch their faces to talk and, yeah, put up with me, yeah, know how it is, whatever. That's what happens is guys act like that. There's no standards. There's no I'm trying to be attractive, or I know what I should do with you, or I have something like I know how to be a nice girl and a not nice girl. There just isn't that when it comes to most guys because we weren't raised that way. And so when they start acting like that, they just make everybody a not nice, rude, ugly girl, right? And what happens when this happens is people don't pay attention to each other. It's hard to do stuff with people who don't respect you and have self-respect. It's like if you bake somebody a birthday cake and they punch you in the face, then, well, so much for being nice to them, right? Or if you pay attention to someone and they force you to put up with them or force you to see them or, act rude and bitchy and sketchy and make you quiet and uncomfortable, right? So it's hard to pay attention to each other. So what ends up happening is people don't pay attention to each other. They have to keep forcing people to pay attention to them, and then the more rude and sketchy they get and the harder it is to talk, the more rude and sketchy they act, and so they have to keep forcing people to pay attention to them and see them act rude and sketchy, and that becomes pretty much all they do. And you'll have people, say here in Toronto, Canada, and I've got the last couple of years on video. You can see what's happening. All this stuff is 100% clear, and I've made a big stink because people have trouble talking about this. They don't want it. They don't like it. Nobody likes it. Nobody's like happy this happens. I've had somebody spazzing out near me and trying to force me to see them spaz out, pretend bitchy, sketchy girlfriend zombie or whatever. And I'm not interested, so I'm looking away or I'm holding something up to avoid it. Keep my self-respect, don't lose mine, and then take anybody else's. Just be a nice, polite Canadian making more, not turn into a rude, sketchy zombie making more and killing polite Canadians. And I've asked some people, just 20, 30 people sitting nearby at the GO station at the mall. I don't do it often because I don't like to bother people, but I'll do it as an experiment. And I'll say, any of you want to put up with this? Is this the type of thing you can do with strangers? Like asking somebody for directions or the time or something? Can you just go near people and spaz out and pretend to be their bitchy, sketchy girlfriend, either walking or sitting or whatever? And if you can, then one of you 20, 30 people sitting there doing nothing, sitting down at the mall somewhere waiting for family or friends to be finished shopping at some store, or sitting at a GO station or subway station or transit station doing nothing and so bored you're even bored of your phone. Do you want this person coming over and forcing you to see them play with their hair or wipe their face or act rude and sketchy and make you quiet and uncomfortable? And they look at you like, no, nobody's put up their hand. Yeah, me. I'm bored anyway, and that's what you should be able to do with strangers here. Nobody likes it. So nobody likes it. Nobody wants to talk about it. So BK Black Krishna at manforwars.com. I've got the origins of this in the history section there. I won't go into all that now. But the point is, I want to make it easy. I want to either stop it or get the balls rolling and get the eggs sighted, push for bigger balls and unscrambled eggs, and help other people stop it. And I want to make civilians and the media and politicians and police and military and intelligence agencies and security guards and anybody else that's responsible for making sure people are cool understand all this, so that even if what I'm doing kind of separates me, at least you can see me, you can see my 17-inch laptop and my webcam, you can see me either discussing it and filming it and people who can't stop, just running up and spazzing out or whatever, or me, not saying anything and see them running by while I'm ignoring it, or, just focusing on it, and you can see what's happening to people, and you can see that nobody likes it. People probably want to stop, but they just can't help it. And in fact, with the sort of bitchiness, the sort of bitchy sketchiness, it's typically lying bitches begging to be broken. That's the sort of generic globalist brainwashing. Bitching out online in comments to nobody and everybody, bitching out offline, and they're just acting bitchy and sketchy near people, and then getting off on being ignored. And so, how long would it take to stop this? Not more than 3 to 6 months, I would guess. Nobody likes it. People don't want to talk about it. When I politely ignore and forget about it and just don't pay attention to somebody acting like that, and I let other people know that I'm not interested in getting worked up and bothering people or paying attention to it, other people, other Canadians, often, although less and less often as people mess each other up more, are super nice. They're super nice. They're super guys, super straight up, cool with each other, not messing with each other, nobody's worked up, forcing anyone to be uncomfortable. Girls, super nice, friendly, attractive. And that's if I ignore it or if I crap on it and I say, it's not my ugly, sketchy girlfriend, don't blame me for that. being in here. I just hope it stops bothering people. I've got to keep my self-respect. I separate myself from it as much as possible. And I make a stink. Then other guys sometimes know, okay, we can be cool. Or other girls go, wait, masculine strength? Not just rude, ugly girl bothering people and feeling sorry for themselves, but nobody cares because they bother people. Oh, well, I'll break out my best girl stuff. And sometimes the girls are super friendly because they know you're taking being a man seriously, so they should take you being a man seriously too, and they can take being a woman seriously and be attractive with you. Right? And so what ends up happening instead is even people who know each other well, family, friends, whatever, they'll be out somewhere at a coffee shop, a mall, or whatever. And because they act rude and sketchy and they don't respect each other and they're kind of being fake, with each other, they're not paying attention to each other much, or they're not feeling like sharing with each other as much. And they're looking around for other people to see them look sketchy, right? Like they're just, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Hey, you don't want to pay attention to this? Can you put up with me? But hey, yeah. Just see me look sketchy. I know I'm talking to my friend here, and we don't see each other that much, like in a big city like Toronto, and so we should really be focused on catching up and connecting well and making sure our relationship is strong. But because we don't respect each other, we can't do that. So we'll just kind of be near each other, kind of be fake with each other, and then heads will spin around. Anybody want to see me act sketchy? Anybody? What, or they won't even talk to each other, and they'll just go out specifically to wander around and bother people and force people to put up with them, like zombies, like rude, sketchy zombies trying to make more zombies. And you'll have couples. I've had this happen a bunch of times with me. Couples, or even one couple or a few couples, they'll just sit near you and they'll just pretend bitchy, sketchy, ugly girlfriend, pretend bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady wife, pretend bitchy, sketchy. They'll sit there, they'll just act sketchy. And they'll just get off and be ignored, and they'll sulk, and they'll feel sorry for themselves. And, I politely ignore, forget about it right away. Ignoring people acting rude puts you in a good mood. And obviously, like hanging up on a rude telemarketer or whatever, getting out of a stupid situation for no reason, quickly and smoothly. And they like being ignored. And they'll even see each other like being ignored. I've got videos where I've got hundreds of people. My laptop goes for 2.5 hours, just running up while I'm ignoring it, sunglasses, toque pulled low, reading my phone, listening to some music, getting in a better and better mood each time I avoided something stupid happening. And they're just running up and spazzing out and playing with their hair. They're getting all worked up. Oh, here's my chance. They get all stiff. Their body language gets all, and they run up, and then they spaz out near you, and then they're happy you didn't see them, and they run away, right? And that's what happens. And in Toronto, people over the last few years, as it's been getting worse and worse, they had trouble forcing people to see them look ugly and sketchy sitting down. So they started running like zombies more and more and making other people put up with and act like them more and more. And it looks more and more like people are being turned into kind of, communist anti-free speech zombies that make sure nobody can talk, everybody's the same, kill anybody different, turn them into a zombie, and then easier to control by super rich evil people who'd want this when nobody likes it and nobody probably does. And so that's basically what's happening. And so it all starts, right, with the initial, hey, how's it going? Hey, and so what you can do is you can avoid it. And I've seen this happen sometimes in YouTube videos or other videos. Again, it's hard. You'll see it less in YouTube videos. You'll see it more in some liberal talk show hosts like Jimmy Fallon or something will do that. Yeah, right? And, Jimmy Fallon's a nice guy, wants to get along with everybody, whatever, getting kind of fashionably girly or whatever he's supposed to, and he's with somebody. He's like, oh, yeah, right? Oh, totally. That's such a great movie. He starts playing with his hair and touching his face and head to talk, and, Stephen Colbert, oh, yeah, no, totally, yeah. Starts, acting sketchy, especially when they know they could trip up on any politically correct thing that could destroy their careers and get a Twitter outrage mob after them. They kind of act sketchy and rude and sketchy, like a rude, ugly girl sketchy. And what that also does is that also destroys the chemistry they have with other men when they don't respect each other like that, and especially with women, where instead of being relaxed, and attractive and graceful with a confident man who makes sure they can be relaxed and attractive and graceful and can flirt with them, and they can flirt back, like, say, Craig Ferguson, legendary talk show host Craig Ferguson, whose videos of flirting with women are still being uploaded and still incredibly popular to this day, even though he hasn't been on TV in several years. But he's a different archetype because he's more of a, no, I'm a busy man, I'm Craig Ferguson, busy man, you know how it is. And the girl's like, really? I can be sexy and fun with that. Oh, I don't know if I think you can. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm sure I can be cute and fun. Well, I suppose you got me there. You know, no, I'm quite taken by you. And then she pulls back a bit, and he pulls back a bit, and they've got that natural masculine feminine dance. Polite, busy man stays busy or friendly. Polite, busy or friendly, but also gracefully distracting woman who knows a man's not going to make her uncomfortable, is going to try to basically, avoid her a little bit and be a bit disciplined about it. And so she's going to get to share more, to kind of bring him more into her world and offer more of her grace and beauty. With more of the liberal talk show hosts and others, it's a lot harder because you'll have, yeah, right. And the girl's like all stiff and, yeah, oh, no, totally. No, yeah, you're a messed up girl. I'm a messed up girl too. I know how to do that messed up girl thing, right? So instead of making sure, men, instead of making sure you put up with and act like messed up girls, you should make sure nobody does. And, I've seen others, YouTube videos as well. A couple stick in my mind in memory. I remember basketball player Dwayne Wade just looking disgusted when one of the guys, a coach or a trainer or somebody there working with him, I was just watching this little random YouTube basketball crap. And, so Dwayne's there, and it's a little scene, and he's on the court, and he's doing something, and then one of the guys near him goes like this, wipes his nose, and then looks down, insecure, sheepish, sideways. Hey, wipe my nose. I know I did that. Everyone quiet, uncomfortable, so don't say anything. And he just looks disgusted. He looks away like, ugh, gross, right? That stuck with my head for a couple years now, seeing that. And the reason that I bring this up is if this is not as bad where you live around the world, then you should stop it. Because if you see how bad it gets, check out my BitChute YouTube channel, whatever, or check out my narrative on my website, manforwars.com, you'll see where it goes. It doesn't start off that bad. It starts off with a couple of guys sexually harassing each other, like rude, bitchy, sketchy, ugly girls or whatever. Yeah, you know how it is. Oh, sure. And then they, I've got videos, one rejected by YouTube. It says rejected, there. But two pretend sketchy girlfriend zombies treat a Starbucks window like a Walking Dead fence. It's a shot of me. It's a shot of two guys in their 40s or 50s on Bay Street in downtown Toronto. Inside, I'm behind this glass window, and there's people zombieing nearby who get off on acting stupid with a man who'll ignore them because they're sick of being bitchy with a wimp. They'd rather be ignored. And you'll see these two guys come over. It's just a short 2.5-minute video. You can see that on my channel if you scroll down. These guys are hanging out, and they come near me, and they start talking to each other. You can't you can just see them. You can't hear anything. But they just start talking to each other, and they start, yeah, put up with me, yeah. They start acting sketchy with each other, and they're both trying to get my attention by acting like rude, ugly girls. Yeah, you know how it is, all messed up girl. I don't make sure, I put up with and act like messed up girls. I don't make sure nobody does. And these two guys are doing that while talking to each other. And then when they, and I'm not paying attention, I'm just reading my phone and have my laptop near me with my webcam there, just filming me and them in the background and everything else going on like that. And these two guys just keep acting sketchier and sketchier. And, oh, you know how it is. Somebody pay attention to me. And they're trying to talk to each other, but they keep acting more like rude, sketchy, ugly girls. And then they run away from each other. And that happens all the time. Like, oh, hey, Dave, how's it going? Oh, good, Bob, good. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, good, yeah. Put up with me. Oh, God, I'll see you later. And they run away from each other because they don't respect each other. It's hard to be near people or let alone talk to people comfortably if you don't respect each other. So they just run away from each other, and then they run around to bother strangers and make more zombies. And as it gets worse, you'll see more and more of this happening where you live as anti-free speech zombies make more anti-free speech zombies until offline, that's all you have. And that might be brainwashing, the permanent scientific dictatorship, make sure people can never rebel again, herd them into little digital ghettos that are very censored or self-censored, and then offline zombies, online censored digital ghettos where people are talking to strangers around the world much more easily than they can talk to each other where they live. And even if they're smart and passionate, and they say with lots of Canadian flags and emojis, Canadians need to do this, people need to wake up, we need to do something, the sheeple need to whatever. Then they could do that offline, typing on Twitter, typing on YouTube comments, whatever, shorter, little snarky, bitchy blurts. But then offline, you've got to be fashionably bitchy and sketchy like a zombie, right? So the same people that could be nice, helpful people informing and empowering each other, in fact, do the opposite as they disinform, making it hard to talk, and disempower each other, not respecting each other by acting rude and sketchy. And so that's why the offline information war is so crucially important in this day and age. And that's why this subject is so crucially important. People don't like it. People don't like to talk about it. And so it shouldn't take long, 3 to 6 months to get rid of, with some, meetings and posters and flyers and advertising. Go Transit in Toronto, Canada had a better etiquette campaign when the transit system that operates to, from, and around Toronto was getting complaints. People live outside the city and have cars, but they take the GO trains and buses downtown to work. They might drive instead. So they put up a tasteful, better etiquette campaign. And after a few months, it had positive results. Most people liked it. 40% reduction in antisocial behavior after just a few months. Thousands of social media impressions. Everybody likes Be Nice campaigns. You go to a mall, people should be nice. Please be nice and polite. Wouldn't it suck if we all did this? Isn't this much better? You walk around, you're like, oh, I'm glad they have that here. It could be anywhere. Coffee shop, restaurant, the streets, malls, movie theaters. Most people, unless you're truly a jerk, most people appreciate that. And it gives security guards and police and others a reason to enforce that instead of kind of going along. It's like, oh, a rude, sketchy person bothering strangers. 5-10 years ago, within 5 minutes, they'd be kicked out of the mall. Right? But now it's just normal to be rude, sketchy people bothering strangers once you've made people uncomfortable. People in Toronto never had time for that. Never had time to put up with some poor mentally ill person bothering strangers. Couldn't help it, act rude and sketchy. You didn't have time to pay attention to it. You certainly didn't have time to do it. You had work and shopping and family and friends to hang out with when you could. Don't see each other that often in bigger cities, so nobody has time for that, right? But as it gets worse, kind of where you live, that'll be all people have time for. It's a lot easier to kind of act sketchy near people and run away, just force people to see you look ugly and run away, just go near people and spaz out. And how long can I make people put up with this? I used to be able to make people put up with it for 3 minutes, and then it was 30 seconds. Now it's less than 3 seconds. Now it's less than a third of a second. Man, it's so hard to force people to see people look ugly because people don't like it, but I have to keep trying. What else am I going to do? And they just run around like zombies. And it's easier to act rude and sketchy near people and run away than it is to act rude and sketchy near people and still hang out, right? If I'm hanging out with somebody and we're respecting each other and we're talking to each other, and I pick my nose and I eat it, and I pick my nose and I eat it, I pick my nose and I eat it, and I want to force you to see something gross, rude, sketchy, makes you uncomfortable like that, eventually you'd be looking away from me too, or maybe you'd start doing something gross too. Like, yeah, no, sure. What else am I going to do with you? Am I going to look and pay attention? No, slow down, man. Tell me what's really going on. We don't hang out much, and I don't happy to escape from anything bugging you and have a good time, or happy to help you deal with anything bugging you and get it off your chest, or maybe I can offer some advice, but I'm here for you. You can't do that with somebody treating you like that. So your only response is to act rude and sketchy in self-defense. Yeah, it is. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. No, me too. I just pick my nose and eat it, or I just wipe my ear. Yeah, I wonder how that smells. Yeah, some crap in my ear. It smells kind of funny. That's all you can do with each other. You can't take each other seriously and respect each other and communicate well. So that's what leads to the anti-free speech zombies running around bothering strangers and making more. And so if it's not that bad where you live, it's better if you can stop that sooner instead of later. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. You can check out the manforwars.com website for more. I wanted to make this video relatively short and accessible and yet comprehensive. And I know people don't like this and they don't want to talk about it, but otherwise you won't be able to talk at all. So that's my point. That's why this video is called Avoid It When People Force you to see them touch their face to talk, or you won't be able to, because you won't be able to do anything else with them except for be a zombie too. So when it comes to the channel, feel free to subscribe, comment, get in touch with any questions or answers, financially support. The more success I have, the more success we will have in beating this in Toronto, in Canada, and worldwide. And otherwise, I don't want to bother people, so I don't like getting in people's faces with this sort of thing. So I've done a lot about it. It was an emergency before because this was going to happen. Now it has happened. And so I'm kind of like, well, I'll do stuff if people want to, but otherwise I'm just trying, keep my self-respect, not lose mine and take anybody else's, and kind of move, where I can move comfortably, right? Because it always sucks. I'm still the same guy. I'm trying to preserve the same ways that human beings can act like human beings. Straight up, cool guys. Straight or not, you got to be straight up. You can't get on some sheepish sideways shit and mess us up and make us a mess for each other and family and friends and kids. And you want to teach the kids as well, right? I know that, typically me and the guys are cool. Girls make me smile. Kids make me smile. Done. Why? Because I'm a big, strong guy. I can scare people. But as long as I'm cool, then they know they can be cool, then what else are you going to do with them, right? Generally speaking. And so, and I've seen more and more the attacks on everybody. I've seen so many people die, so many millions of Canadians die. You see the same polite Canadian man or woman that was cool a couple months ago, now bitchy, sketchy, ugly, pretend girlfriend. You seem really worth bothering. I'm just looking to turn people into bitchy, sketchy, ugly, pretend girlfriend zombies. And so you seem like you're cool, now you're worth bothering. And so I've seen so many of them die, right? Guys used to be cool with. Girls used to be cool with. Even kids, right? There's a school relatively close to where I live, and I walk by that school sometimes, and sometimes the kids happen to be out playing. You used to be able to walk by there, and as a grown-ass man, behind a fence, a bunch of kids playing at the school there. You walk by, and kids are there, and they see you, and you see them, and you smile, and the kids relax, and they keep playing, they're fun, they're friendly, or they smile at you, or whatever, or they just turn into being cute with each other, and you smile, walk by, just a nice generic, hey, kids, smile at the kids. Then over the last, year, whatever or so, you can't do that anymore. Now they want to be like, oh, you're looking at me? Worked up, force you to put up with me, spaz out, bother you. It's like, shoot. So you got to ignore it, forget about the kids, because as it gets worse and worse, they get taken out too. And you'll have kids that grow up not even knowing how to be nice to people. They don't even know how to be nice to people. And you see that, especially with anybody under the age of 30, under the age of 20, under the age of 15, 10. You'll see them just running around, bothering people, bumping into people, spazzing out, making people put up with them. Families going to the mall, man, his wife, 3 kids, just walking around, being rude and sketchy near people, like zombies, bothering each other. And what they want to do is they want to kill polite people and make more zombies. That's what they're looking for. If they see somebody more worked up and spazzing out and bothersome than them, then they'll bother each other and run away. But you got to kind of run away from that person more sketchy than you. If you see somebody less sketchy, then you got to get worked up because they're a perfect person to force to see, like, oh, you're not bothering people, so put up with me. And then once you do that, once you put up with them and they rip your balls off or scramble your eggs, or you have to act sketchy in self-defense, then you'll turn into a zombie bothering people too. And that's how people are turning into zombies, and that's how the zombie apocalypse might be happening. That's why this is so important. It starts off with just, hey, how's it going? Yeah, you know how it is. Things are a little messed up. Yeah, oh yeah, no, you know how it is. It's sketchy, wipe my nose. Yeah, you know how it is. Play with my hair, yeah, touch my face. Oh yeah, oh sure. It starts there. But then once you do that with each other, you end up doing it with other strangers. It becomes really hard to force people to see you look ugly like that, and you end up running like a zombie trying to, and all that makes it harder to talk, so you just do that more. So for people out there, for polite patriots, and why I'm promoting polite patriotism, is be nice. Promoting be nice is something that everybody likes. I've certified that a bunch of times. And that makes it easier for more confident people to hear or say get bad guys. The few that are serious about it can move more effectively offline, inform and empower people, and everybody else can at least hear it and possibly discuss it with each other. That makes it much easier to do. So that's why this is so important. Because polite, patriotic people can make more wherever they live, in Toronto, Canada, around the world, in America, in Africa, in Japan, in Brazil, in wherever, right? In Russia, doesn't matter, right? Wherever this sort of thing is going on, because this gender confusion is what leads to that. And with kids out there, right? You might send your kid to school. Nobody's safe, right? That's my concern, right? I'm not, going into a gay bar and say, hey, you queers, stop messing around. It's like, no, these aren't people happily dancing with each other and getting along and being nice. I'm not saying they all do or they all don't. I'm just saying it's not that consensual situation. It's people forcing people to put up with them and then not respecting each other and just doing it more and more. And then you can't do it much with people and you want to go bother strangers. You'll even have people, for lunch do that. It's like, hey, Dave, you want to get lunch? Oh, sure, Joe. What do you want to do for lunch? Do you want to hang out, respect each other, talk, catch up? Or no, we'll act rude and sketchy and make each other uncomfortable. So instead, let's just act like a couple of zombies out of the Walking Dead TV show and wander around spazzing out and bothering strangers near us, and trying to make more zombies, right? And like zombies in the movies, they'll zombie with each other, but it's not as satisfying as turning people into zombies. And I've done the stuff where I've been out there with the video, with my laptop, webcam, or whatever, and I'm like, man, it'd be so nice to see a nice, polite Canadian. Zombie runs up, spazzes out, tries to attack you, kill you, turn you into a zombie, right? Man, it'd be so cool to meet a straight-up cool guy. We just respect each other and be cool and mind our business. Or even he'd say, hey, how's it going, eh? Oh, good, eh? Nice weather, isn't it? Sure is. Have a good one. You too. Zombie runs up, spazzes out, freaking out on you, runs at you, tries to turn you into a zombie. Or, man, it'd be great to see some nice girl, walking slow, looking cool, trying to feel hot, with some polite, busy man and just putting us both in a good mood. Zombie runs over, spazzing, me, look at me, look ugly, like it's nice. Zombie runs over, spazzing out, tries to attack you both, turn you into a zombie, right? So that's basically what's been happening. And that starts from you know how it goes, eh? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. No, that's where it starts, right? I want to make that clear. So, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Feel free to comment, subscribe, get in touch, use any clips of this you'd like. You can also financially support. There's PayPal and direct deposit donation links below. That's the most important thing when it comes to my ends, because if I get, and my goal is to get massive financial support for this from people that don't want to see it, blow me up and make me really big, and then use me to destroy all this crap because of my substantial history with it. Or if people don't want to talk about it, don't want to hear about it, they don't like it, but they don't want to deal with it, then I have to I don't like bothering people, feeling bad, making them feel bad, not having self-respect, being a piece of crap for myself or other people to put up with. Then I've just got to mostly ignore it and kind of be more isolated relative to that, right? Because I'm the same guy. But if I go to a party, as I've gone to parties for years, as it's gotten worse and worse, it's getting harder and harder because people get more aggressively sketchy. Before, you could ignore it and people can still do it with each other. That's why I say avoid it, because you can still do it with people, and hopefully you can calm them down. And once they calm down and they aren't trying to force you to see them act sketchy anymore, you can respect each other and you can keep it to a minimum where you live. If you let it get out of hand, they get super aggressive about it and they think it's what they have to do. It's the obvious thing to do. I've been at parties where I'm cool there, and the guys are like everybody's not sure if everybody's going to be cool. I'm like, no, I'm cool. And the other guys are like, oh, really? So they're cool. They straighten up their spines. They straighten up their back. They shoulders back, chest out, head up, and we're cool with each other. Hey, man, I love the hat. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, we're nice to each other. We're cool. The girls see there's a man there who's cool, and I was like, oh, strong, straight, confident, cool guy. So the girls are really mischievous. And they're cute and they're fun and they're flirty. They're like, oh, how are you? And stick out the hand. Oh, I'm doing very well. I'm doing much better now. Nice to meet you. And the girls all hee. It's nice to have fun, cool guys to flirt with at a party, right? And so I'm cool. I'm getting along with this guy, getting along with that guy. The last party I went to, this is what happened. Get along with a couple of these guys, get along with that girl. I'm in the kitchen, whatever. And then all of a sudden, somebody near me, I think it was a girl or whatever near me, starts spazzing out. Hey, me. See how you're nice to that girl? Look at me spazzing out. Look at me, acting sketchy. right? So I just hold up a newspaper or whatever like this, like that, right? And I just gone, ignored it. And I kept talking to the nice girl here and whatever. And this is a little weird, holding something up to avoid something. But I was getting along with somebody, and this sketchy person was trying to make us both uncomfortable or get attention and bother us, right? and whatever. So I held something up like this, held like a newspaper up like this. And then one of my buddies, who was throwing the party, was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, just somebody over there acting sketchy. It's worked up. Maybe they can't help it. It's okay. It's nothing. Just hopefully they'll stop." Right? And I kept going with the whatever. And then I talked to my buddy about that a bit. My buddy's like, "Are you cool?" I'm like, "You damn right I'm cool, man. Look at me. Look at me in the eyes. Straight up." And he's like, yeah, I know you're cool, whatever, but you know how it is. And I was just like, "All right, look, I just told him, I said, you know what, man? I always love seeing you. I love your parties. It's great, but I'm out of here. I got to go." Right? Because if I'm the bad guy, because I don't want that sketchy person making everybody uncomfortable, at this party, and I don't hate them. They can't help it. They can't help it. You just politely ignore them, and hopefully they stop, realize it's not acceptable behavior. They calm down. They get along better. Everybody gets along better. Done. But if I'm the bad guy for doing that, then I'm out of here. No problem. I'll leave. I'll leave the party, right? Even at a previous party, that's happened. At a table, 7, 8 people, we're all hanging out, we're all talking, whatever. Then somebody starts, "Oh yeah, you know how it is. Everybody pay attention to me acting sketchy," right? I'm like, "Oh crap, here we go." I know this table of 7, 8 people is going to get all sketchy and rude and sketchy in a second, and everyone's going to get quiet and uncomfortable. It's going to be like, yeah, talking too loud, making everyone put up with me. Yeah, acting sketchy, making everyone put up with me. Yeah, no, don't respect anyone, no one respects me. Oh, we can't talk anymore. We're all quiet and uncomfortable. Done. Right? So I know that's going to happen. So as it starts, and people aren't stopping it, people aren't ignoring it, so you got to start doing it and can't do anything else near them. I leave that table of a few people. I go over and talk to my one buddy there. The two of us get into a great conversation, not acting rude and sketchy, even about this stuff, like, Miss Polite Euro manners and standards. Oh, yeah, that would be nice, straight or otherwise. And you can do different things, but just generally being near people. It's like, yeah, that would be nice. That's the way we used to do things. It's great. Not talking specifically about that, but generally about that, you can do. So I was talking with my buddy, 2 guys, respecting each other, getting along great, whatever. And then another guy who I didn't know well, he sees us and he goes, "Ugh, an oasis. An oasis. I know what's going to happen here at this." So he leaves that table and he comes over and he joins us. And he's mostly trying to be cool with us. A couple of times things come up, and I don't care if it's a little slip here or there, if you're not trying to torture people with it, if you're not making it a normal part of what you do. You just kind of look away when somebody slips a bit and can't help it. And then they stop and they understand that we all want to be cool with each other, and they stop, right? So that guy, just because of the culture we're in, the toxic lion, bitchy, sketchy soup that we're in, he stops it a bit, right? And or he tries to keep control of it. So that's okay. We didn't mind. So the 3 of us guys were talking, all of a certain age, all talking like confident guys, respect each other, all contributing to the conversation, making sure we respect each other so we could share more and more, and so on. And then that table of 8 people, now down to 6 people or whatever, they get loud, obnoxious, rude, bitchy, sketchy over there, and then they, destroy themselves and make it impossible to look at, talk to each other. So then a couple of them come over to us and they start screwing up. "Oh, hey, how's it going? What are you guys doing? What are you guys?" And it's like, "Oh, crap." So they attack us, our nice, polite 3 guys conversation, and they try and screw it up. And then I got to bounce out of there again, right? But that's my experience, right? So that's why I've got manforwars.com, right? And that's why, I maintain at manforwars.com the ability to do something about this and end this in a few months in Toronto and show how to end it anywhere in the world. Nobody's going to fight for it. The only people that will fight for it are lying bitches begging to be broken, and they'll happily lose and get to stop. So good to go if people want to stop it, and that's why. Anyway, I think this is the most important thing in the world, and that's why I'm dealing with it. But I don't like bothering people, so I certainly don't want to trouble anybody with it, even if they hate it, even if it sucks, even if it destroys their relationships with their family and friends and kids, and people don't respect and listen to each other, and you could just bully your kids into listening to you. You can't get them to actually hear you and respect you and admire you and emulate you. You could just, freak out on them to make them listen to you or whatever, even if all that crap's going on. I don't want to bother people about it. I just want to make sure that I'm respected for these efforts, and I'm financially supported for these efforts and paid well to take a leadership role and help them stop in a number of ways. And then we're good to go. Or I just don't bring it up. If I'm nearby, I just ignore it. Newspaper, something else, ignore it. Whatever. Other people around, either they find it, yeah, more of a challenge, make you into a zombie. You won't resist this. Or other people around go, really? You're not into getting worked up and force people to put up with you or paying attention to it? Nope. Friggin' A. I go to this convenience store, I get ignored. It's like, oh, it's no problem. They can't help it. It's not my sketchy girlfriend. I just want to make that clear. In here, making everyone uncomfortable. Doesn't respect me. Makes everyone around uncomfortable. This guy's not my rude, sketchy girlfriend or girl or whatever, whoever it is. Nothing to do with me. And I'm just politely ignoring it, forgetting about it. And I don't want to bring it up, make anybody else any more uncomfortable than they're already making everybody else in here, right? And so I quickly might say something like that if there's any sort of question, or I just politely ignore it and just, hold something up, look away. And then the guy at the convenience store is like, oh, cool, you're a straight up guy? Super cool with each other. Cool with each other, businesslike, nice, friendly. Any one of those options are on the table. It's all good. Girl, same thing. Now, if they trick you and try and force you to see them look ugly again, they trick you, then, of course, gone. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Gone. Right? Because I know. You don't care. You just want to force people to see you look ugly and make zombies who do that and then get sick of each other. So, gone. Right? So that's where I'm at with respect to manforwars.com, and that's why I've got manforwars.com to promote polite patriotism, help nice ladies and gents teach kids, look, talk, and feel great, and locally discuss great online info offline and share it as nice, helpful people improving where they live. And this is what's happening right now is the opposite of that. So anyway, feel free to, as I said, comment, subscribe, get in touch, donate to these efforts. I can go on and on, but I probably shouldn't. I'll have to do just different stuff about it. PayPal direct deposit links below. Otherwise, I do hope this helps. And by the way, I'm serious. Get in touch with anything. If there's stuff out there, I can destroy some of the big memes. I'd like to be a guy that with self-respect, who can destroy a lot of bullshit related to how this is screwing people up, because it's not that linear. But the best thing you can do, as I say in the title of this video, is just avoid it. Right? Look away when somebody's doing that. Don't you start as well. Just try and look away. And if you're doing it yourself, try and be disciplined and don't do it. Do it less and look away. And if it's not as bad as it is here in Toronto, Canada, where it's just total zombiedom, just armies of millions of zombies wandering around trying to make zombies, attacking anyone less zombie-like and making them more zombie-like, and running away from people more zombie-like, attacking them while still trying to attack people and make zombies. If it's not this bad where you live, if it's not this bad in Oklahoma City, if it's not this bad in Poland, if it's not this bad in Japan, if it's not this bad in Brazil, if it's not this bad in Somalia or wherever the hell you are, right? Then, or in your town there, or in smaller towns in Canada and other places, then you can stop it, right? When they start, hey, how's it going? Oh, look away. Like what? Oh, just calm down, it's all good. Make sure we're cool with each other. What? Do you want me to bring this up and embarrass you anymore? They say, no, it's cool. We'll stop. We'll respect each other. Good to go, right? Anyway, so see manforwars.com for the whole history of that. As I said, comment, subscribe, get in touch, chop up any clips you'd like, donate, PayPal, direct deposit donation links below, or I can discuss other options with you. Otherwise, BK Black Krishna for manforwars.com. I do hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you'll talk more soon too. Cheers.